Ladies and gentlemen, your mind is the greatest battlefield you will ever face. The wars of success, failure, happiness, and misery are all fought inside the walls of your own head. Control your thoughts, and you control your life. Fail to control them, and you live as a servant to fear, doubt, and limitation. Every thought you allow is a seed. Plant anger, and you reap destruction. Plant fear, and you harvest hesitation. But plant courage, plant persistence, plant faith, and life will reward you with strength, progress, and victory. The law is simple. Your outer world is nothing but a reflection of your inner world. The first step is awareness. Most people drift through life letting any random thought take charge. Not you. From this day forward, you must guard your mind as you would guard a treasure chest. The moment a negative thought arrives, crush it. Replace it with its opposite. If fear whispers, answer with courage. If doubt shouts, respond with certainty. If weakness crawls in, rise with strength. Direct your mind daily. Do not leave it to chance. The mind left unattended becomes a playground for failure, but the mind that is disciplined, trained, and focused becomes a weapon of creation. Visualize what you want. See it. Feel it. Believe it until belief transforms into action, and action transforms into results. Hold the image of your future so powerfully that nothing can shake it. Understand this, discipline in thought is discipline in destiny. No man, no circumstance, no obstacle has power over you unless you give it power through thought. Your life bends to the command of your mind. So I say to you today, master your thoughts and you will master your fate. Change your thoughts and you will change your life. Every thought is a seed. What you plant, you harvest. If you sow weakness, doubt, and fear, do not be surprised when your life yields hesitation, failure, and regret. If you sow strength, courage, and persistence, you will reap victory, growth, and triumph. This is not poetry. This is law. The soil of your mind does not care what you plant. It only gives back what you place inside it. Every thought is building your future, shaping your reality, creating the destiny you are walking into. The tragedy is that most people scatter weeds into their minds every day and then complain about the harvest. They dwell on fear, they dwell on what might go wrong, they dwell on the obstacles in their path, and then wonder why their life is filled with barriers. But you are not like most people. You are here because you are ready to take command of your thoughts, and in doing so, take command of your life. The first truth you must accept is this: your dominant thoughts shape your destiny. Not the fleeting ideas that flash across your mind and disappear, but the consistent, repeated thoughts that take root and grow deep. If you constantly think about your failures, you create a mindset of failure. If you consistently think about success, strength, and possibility, you program your mind for victory. The universe, the subconscious mind, the very energy around you begins to align with the vibration of your thoughts. What you hold in your mind with conviction, you will hold in your hands in reality. But here is where the battle begins. The mind does not automatically serve you. Left unchecked, it is chaotic, filled with doubt, fear, and negativity. The first step is awareness. You must become the watchman of your own thoughts. Every day, every moment, notice what is passing through your mind. Do not allow it to wander uncontrolled. The second you become aware of a negative thought, reject it. Do not let it take root. Replace it immediately with a thought of power, a thought of courage, a thought of strength. If the mind whispers, you cannot do it, you must shout back, I will, I must, I am already becoming it. If doubt says, you are not enough, you must answer, I am more than enough, and I am growing stronger every day. The mind responds to repetition, to conviction, to belief. Speak into it the thoughts you want to dominate your life. Understand this: your thoughts control your emotions control your actions, and your actions control your results. It all begins in the invisible world of thought. If you can master that invisible battlefield, you can master everything else. This is why the discipline of the mind is the discipline of destiny. Visualize your future, not in a vague, half-hearted way, but with clarity and intensity. See yourself already in possession of the life you desire. Feel it as if it were real now. The brain does not distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and reality. It begins to wire itself according to the pictures you hold. The more you see it, the more you believe it. The more you believe it, the more you act upon it. And action, repeated with persistence, will make it reality. But visualization without discipline is only fantasy. You must train your mind daily, as you would train a muscle. Just as the body grows stronger with resistance, the mind grows stronger when challenged and controlled. Begin every morning by choosing your thoughts deliberately. Declare who you are, what you will achieve, and how you will face the day. End every night by reviewing your victories, no matter how small, and reinforcing the belief that tomorrow you rise even stronger. Guard your mind as you would guard a fortress. Do not allow gossip, negativity, or the poison of small thinkers to infiltrate your thoughts. What you allow into your ears and eyes enters your mind, and what enters your mind becomes your life. If you want greatness, feed your mind with greatness. If you want courage, feed your mind with stories of courage. If you want success, surround yourself with voices, books, and people who breathe success. There will be days when negative thoughts attack with full force. There will be moments when fear and doubt seem stronger than faith and confidence. In those moments, remember this: you are not your thoughts. You are the master of your thoughts. You have the power to choose. You have the authority to direct. You are not a slave to the voice of fear. You are the commander who silences it. And when you begin to live this way, something remarkable happens. Your inner world changes first. You feel stronger, more focused, more determined. Then your outer world begins to bend and shift to match that strength. Opportunities appear where before there were none. People are drawn to your conviction. Obstacles that once seemed immovable begin to fall before you. This is the power of mastering thought. So hear me clearly. If you wish to change your life, you must change your thoughts. If you desire success, you must think success. If you desire strength, you must think strength. If you desire freedom, you must think freedom. What you consistently hold in your mind with belief and with discipline must eventually show up in your life. Every thought is a seed. Plant wisely. Guard your garden. Nurture only the thoughts that lead to your highest vision, and starve the weeds that would choke your destiny. Control your thoughts, and you will control your future. Change your thoughts, and you will change your life. Your dominant thoughts shape your reality. The world you live in right now is not an accident, not a coincidence, not the result of chance. It is the reflection of the thoughts you have repeated, believed, and allowed to dominate your mind. Every action you have ever taken began first as a thought. Every success you have achieved was born in the soil of thought. Every failure you have endured was watered by the same. The truth is inescapable. Whatever you allow to rule your mind will eventually rule your life. The human mind is the most powerful tool in existence, yet it does not come with a manual. Most people let their minds run like an untamed wild horse, pulling them into fear, into doubt, into hesitation. They wonder why their life feels out of control, but the answer is simple. The rider has lost the reins. You cannot afford to drift. If you do not command your thoughts will command you, and where they take you will rarely be where you want to go. Look closely at your own life. The habits you live by, the choices you make, the standards you accept, they are all reflections of what you think about most. If your thoughts are filled with limitation, your life will be filled with limitation. If your thoughts are charged with power, persistence, and possibility, your life will expand in the same direction. The outer world bends to the shape of the inner world. This is why awareness is everything. You cannot change what you are blind to. Begin to notice what occupies your mind each day. Do your thoughts lift you or lower you? Do they push you forward or hold you back? Are you focused on the problems or the possibilities? The mind is like a magnet. It pulls toward you the circumstances that match its dominant vibration. You cannot think failure all day and stumble into success. You cannot dwell on weakness and expect strength. You cannot replay fears and step boldly into courage. Life obeys the command of thought. Once you understand this law, your task becomes clear. You must take control of what you allow to dominate your mind. Every time a thought of defeat arises, refuse it. Replace it with a thought of victory. When fear whispers, answer with courage. When doubt screams, respond with belief. The more often you do this, the more natural it becomes. Over time, the weeds of negativity die and the garden of strength grows. Your emotions are slaves to your thoughts. You do not feel weak until you think weak. You do not feel discouraged until you think discouraging thoughts. But the moment you choose thoughts of power, your emotions shift, your energy rises, your body moves with greater force. This is the chain. Thoughts shape emotions, emotions drive actions, and actions produce results. To change your results, you must begin with your thoughts. Visualization is one of the greatest tools you possess. Close your eyes and see yourself as the person you want to become. Imagine the victory before it exists. Feel the success before it arrives. Walk into that image in your mind until it becomes familiar, until it feels natural, until your subconscious begins to treat it as reality. The more you see it, the more you believe it. The more you believe it, the more you act in alignment with it. And when your actions line up with your vision, results become inevitable. But do not mistake this for wishful thinking. Thinking without action is fantasy. Thought must become discipline. Each day you must deliberately plant the thoughts you want to grow. Feed your mind with power. Feed it with knowledge, with courage, with stories of resilience, with visions of greatness. Protect your mind from poison, from the voices of doubt, the noise of negativity, the weight of small thinkers. The influences you allow will become the thoughts you repeat, and the thoughts you repeat will become the life you live. You must be ruthless in this, ruthless with yourself, ruthless with what you allow into your mental space. For the mind is not a playground, it is a battlefield. If you let your guard down, if you allow weakness to creep in, it multiplies. But if you stand firm, if you consistently choose strength, if you discipline your thought daily, your destiny bends to your will. Look at those who achieve greatness in any field. The difference is not that life handed them an easier path. The difference is that they mastered their thinking. They refused to let fear dominate. They refused to let doubt dictate. They kept their minds locked on possibility, locked on victory, locked on the image of what they wanted until that image became reality. What they held inside eventually appeared outside. And the same is true for you. If you desire a higher life, you must first think higher thoughts. If you desire success, you must think in terms of success long before the evidence appears. If you desire freedom, you must think as a free person before the chains fall off. You cannot wait for the result to believe. You must believe first, and the result will come. Your dominant thoughts shape your reality. This truth cannot be escaped, cannot be ignored, cannot be broken. So I ask you now, what will you allow to dominate your mind? Will you fill it with fear, with weakness, with excuses? Or will you command it with courage, with faith, with relentless determination? The answer you choose is the future you create. Every day, every hour, every moment, you are planting seeds with your thoughts. Choose them with care. Choose them with purpose. Choose them with power. Because when you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your life. And when you master your thoughts, you will master your destiny. Control begins with awareness. You cannot change what you do not notice. The first step to transformation is not action, it is recognition. Until you see clearly, you are blind. Until you admit the truth, you are chained. The reason most people remain stuck in the same patterns year after year is not because they lack power, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack awareness. They move through life asleep, driven by habits they never question, held hostage by thoughts they never challenge, repeating the same cycles without ever realizing they hold the key to break free. You must wake up. You must begin to notice. Notice the thoughts you think. Notice the emotions that rise. Notice the actions you repeat without even considering them. Because nothing in your life changes until you see it for what it is. Awareness is the mirror that exposes both your weakness and your strength. And once you see, you can no longer deny. Once you see, you must decide, will I continue as I am, or will I rise and take control? Think of it this way. Your mind is constantly running, like a stream of water. If you are not aware, that stream flows in whatever direction gravity pulls it, usually down into fear, doubt, laziness, negativity. But when you are aware, you notice the flow, and you have the power to redirect it. You can shift your attention. You can stop feeding weakness and start feeding strength. Awareness is the hand that takes the wheel of the mind. Without it, you drift. With it, you steer. Every failure begins as an unnoticed thought. Every destructive habit begins as an unnoticed decision. And every transformation begins as a moment of awareness. That second when you catch yourself. That second when you stop and say, this is not who I am, this is not what I want, I must change. That spark of awareness is the doorway to power. Awareness is not comfortable. It will expose your excuses. It will reveal the truth behind your procrastination. It will show you how much time you waste, how many fears you entertain, how many opportunities you let slip because you were blind to your own patterns. But do not fear this discomfort. Embrace it, because pain is the signal that growth is near. Awareness is not your enemy, it is your greatest ally. Once you see, the power is yours. When you notice a negative thought, you can replace it. When you notice self-doubt, you can inject belief. When you notice hesitation, you can choose action. Without awareness, you are a slave to automatic patterns. With awareness, you become the master of choice. Imagine a warrior stepping onto the battlefield blindfolded. What chance does he have? None. But remove the blindfold, and even if the enemy is strong, at least he can see. At least he can fight. Awareness removes the blindfold. It allows you to face life with your eyes open, prepared to win. Start with your thoughts. Most people have no idea how many toxic thoughts pass through their minds each day. Fear, jealousy, anger, self-criticism. They run like background music, unnoticed but powerful. Pay attention. Notice what you tell yourself. Notice how your mind reacts when challenges appear. Notice the story you repeat. Once you notice, you can change the story. Then move to your habits. Awareness reveals where your time goes. Awareness reveals the small actions that sabotage your potential. Awareness reveals why you feel stuck. Most people complain about their circumstances while remaining blind to the habits that create them. Become aware and you take back your power. Awareness is also the foundation of self-discipline. You cannot discipline what you do not notice. The moment you catch yourself reaching for distraction, the moment you recognize procrastination creeping in, you can interrupt it. Without awareness, the habit wins. With awareness, you win. But awareness alone is not enough. It must lead to decision. Once you see, you must act. To notice weakness and ignore it is to choose failure. To notice strength and not build it is to waste potential. Awareness opens the door, but discipline walks through it. Awareness hands you the sword, but courage swings it. Control begins with awareness. If you are unaware, you are drifting, you are repeating, you are living on autopilot. But when you awaken to your patterns, when you see with clarity, you unlock the power to direct your mind, your habits, your destiny. This is the beginning of transformation. So I challenge you, starting today, pay attention. Watch your thoughts, watch your words, watch your actions, question them. Ask yourself, is this taking me closer to my vision or is it holding me back? Do not move blindly. Do not live unconsciously. Awareness is your light, and in that light you will see every chain that binds you, and more importantly, you will see the key to break free. Control begins with awareness. Notice, then choose. Choose, then act. Act, then transform. The moment you become fully aware, you are no longer a prisoner of old patterns. You are the architect of a new life. Reject negative intruders. Replace them with empowering ideas. Your mind is your kingdom, and not every thought deserves entry. Every day intruders arrive uninvited. Fear, doubt, jealousy, anger, limitation. They knock at the gates of your mind, and if you let them in, they will poison your focus, weaken your resolve, and sabotage your destiny. But understand this, you are not helpless. You are the guard at the door. You decide who enters. You decide what stays. You decide which voices are given power and which are cast out. Most people live as though they are powerless against their thoughts. They allow every dark whisper, every discouraging word, every fear-driven image to set up camp inside their mind. And then they wonder why their lives feel heavy, why their actions feel weak, why their results fall short. The truth is simple. You cannot fill your mind with poison and expect to produce power. You cannot entertain defeat and live in victory. The first step is rejection. When the thought of fear arrives, reject it. When the thought of weakness arrives, reject it. When the thought of quitting, of failure, of limitation tries to invade, slam the door shut. Do not negotiate with negativity. Do not entertain its lies. Do not give it even a second of shelter. The more quickly you reject, the less damage it can do. But rejection alone is not enough. You cannot simply push thoughts away and leave an empty space. An empty mind is an open invitation for more intruders. Once you reject, you must replace. Replace fear with courage. Replace doubt with certainty. Replace limitation with possibility. Replace weakness with strength. This is not just positive thinking, this is mental discipline. This is training the mind to serve you instead of sabotage you. Imagine a soldier on guard. His duty is not just to keep enemies out, it is to allow allies in. If he blocks everyone, he is useless. If he lets the wrong ones in, he destroys the camp. The same is true of your mind. Guard it not just by rejecting what is harmful, but by welcoming what is empowering. Fill your inner world with ideas that lift you, with words that strengthen you, with visions that drive you forward. Understand this. Your mind cannot hold two dominant thoughts at the same time. Fear and faith cannot rule together. Doubt and belief cannot sit on the same throne. Negativity and strength cannot coexist at full power. One will drive out the other. So choose which one you feed. If you dwell on fear, it grows stronger. If you dwell on faith, fear withers. If you dwell on limitation, possibilities vanish. If you dwell on possibilities, limitation shrinks. What you choose to replace determines the course of your destiny. This is why daily discipline is non-negotiable. Every morning, fill your mind deliberately with empowering ideas. Read words of courage. Speak affirmations of strength. Visualize the victories ahead. Condition your mind before the intruders arrive so that when they knock, your defenses are already strong. And every night, clear out the waste. Review your thoughts, identify the ones that weakened you, and make a decision not to let them return tomorrow. Rejection and replacement are not one-time acts. They are a way of life. The battle for the mind is constant, and the price of victory is vigilance. But the reward is immeasurable. A mind filled with empowering ideas is unstoppable. It radiates strength, it attracts opportunity, it fuels relentless action. And when your mind is aligned with your vision, nothing external can defeat you. Look at the stories of greatness. No champion, no leader, no creator of history rose without facing the intruders of doubt and fear. The difference is not that they never heard the whispers of negativity. The difference is that they refused to listen. They rejected the intruders and replaced them with visions of victory. They trained their minds to see possibility when others saw impossibility. They held on to empowering ideas until those ideas transformed into reality. And now the same choice stands before you. You will be attacked by doubt. You will be visited by fear. You will be tempted by the voices that tell you to quit, to settle, to give up. But you must stand guard. You must become ruthless about what enters your mind. Protect it with the same intensity you would protect your greatest treasure, because that is what it is. The mind is the treasure chest that shapes your destiny. From this moment, decide that you will no longer be a victim of intruding thoughts. Decide that every time a negative idea enters, you will reject it without hesitation. Decide that you will replace it instantly with a thought of strength, of vision, of power. This is how you reprogram your life. This is how you transform weakness into strength, fear into courage, limitation into endless possibility. Reject negative intruders. Replace them with empowering ideas. Guard your mind, feed it with power, and watch as your life bends to match the thoughts you choose to keep. Because in the end, it is simple. What you allow inside your mind determines the life you live outside. Protect it, direct it, command it, and you will rise to the life you are meant to live. Direct your mind daily, or it will direct you blindly. The mind is the most powerful servant you will ever command, but left undirected, it becomes the most dangerous master you could ever face. Each day your thoughts are leading you somewhere. The question is, are they leading you toward your vision, or are they dragging you into distraction, doubt, and defeat? If you do not take control, your mind will wander, and when it wanders, it never drifts upward. It drifts downward into weakness, into fear, into mediocrity. Every morning when you rise, you stand at a crossroads. Either you direct your mind with intention or you hand it over to randomness. If you begin the day aimlessly, your mind fills itself with the noise of the world, with the voices of doubt, with the weight of every distraction that comes knocking. But when you rise with clarity, when you decide in advance what to focus on, what to think about, what to believe, your mind becomes your ally. It sharpens your actions, fuels your discipline, and drives your destiny forward. Think about this truth. Your mind is always working. It never stops. It is generating images, replaying memories, constructing beliefs, shaping emotions, and driving behavior every single moment. If you don't direct it, it will still operate, but it will operate on the programming of fear, habit, and outside influence. That is what it means to live blindly. You are still being led, but you don't know where and you don't know why. The greatest mistake most people make is believing that control of the mind is automatic. It is not. The mind left alone is like a wild field. Without deliberate planting, weeds grow. Without daily discipline, negativity spreads. Without conscious direction, the mind fills itself with whatever the world throws at it. Fear from the news, envy from social media, doubt from small thinkers. And then they wonder why their lives are filled with confusion, procrastination, and weakness. The solution is daily discipline. Every day, deliberately take hold of your thoughts. Begin the morning by commanding your focus. Decide who you are, what you will do, and how you will think. This is not suggestion, this is law. Speak to yourself with conviction. Declare your goals. Visualize your victories. Choose empowering ideas before the intruders of fear and doubt can enter. This daily act of directing your mind builds mental muscle, and over time that muscle becomes unbreakable. Understand this. Your mind is not loyal to you unless you train it. It will serve whoever holds the loudest voice. If fear speaks louder, fear wins. If courage speaks louder, courage wins. If laziness whispers louder, laziness wins. But if you consistently raise the voice of strength, of persistence, of vision, then your mind will follow. It will obey your command. This is why successful people guard their mornings. They do not begin the day by letting the world flood their thoughts. They begin by programming their minds with clarity and power. They understand that what occupies the first hours of thought often determines the quality of the entire day. You cannot afford to leave those first moments to chance. Direct your mind before the world directs it for you. And directing your mind is not only about the morning, it is about every moment. Throughout the day, you must catch yourself. Ask, what am I focusing on? Is this thought strengthening me or weakening me? Is this thought taking me closer to my vision or pulling me away? Awareness allows correction. Correction allows redirection. The person who checks their mind often is the person who stays in control. But if you neglect this, the cost is heavy. The mind that is not directed begins to wander into old patterns. It replays mistakes. It magnifies fears. It exaggerates obstacles. You begin to act out of weakness instead of strength, reaction instead of intention. You become a follower of thoughts instead of a leader of them. And when you live this way long enough, life becomes a cycle of confusion, a cycle you never chose, but one you created by failing to choose. Do not make this mistake. You are not meant to live blindly. You are meant to live with direction, with clarity, with power. And it begins with the command of your mind. Train it daily as you would train a muscle. Feed it with knowledge, challenge it with discipline, strengthen it with repetition. Do not allow one day to pass without giving it orders, without telling it where to focus, without reminding it who you are and where you are going. Direct your mind daily, or it will direct you blindly. The choice is simple, but the consequences are massive. A directed mind creates strength, persistence, victory. A blind mind creates weakness, hesitation, regret. One path builds your destiny, the other path steals it. Every day, every morning, every moment, choose to take command. Lead your mind or be led by it. Speak with authority or be silenced by fear. Choose with intention or drift into nothing. The power is yours. The mind is yours. The direction is yours. Decide now, take control. Direct your mind daily and your life will follow. Visualization fuels belief, and belief commands action. Everything great that has ever been created was first seen in the mind before it was built in reality. The skyscraper was first a picture in someone's imagination. The invention was first a vision before it was a product. The victory was first played out in the mind before it was ever won on the field. Your mind is the workshop of destiny, and the visions you hold are the blueprints of your future. When you visualize, you are not daydreaming, you are programming. The brain does not know the difference between a vividly imagined event and a real one. The more you see it, the more real it feels. The more real it feels, the more you believe it. And once belief takes root, it begins to drive your behavior. It fuels your persistence. It ignites your courage. Visualization is the seed, belief is the soil, and action is the harvest. But understand this, weak visualization produces weak belief. If you see your goals half-heartedly, if you imagine your future without intensity, if you treat your vision like a passing thought, it will not carry power. You must see it with clarity. You must feel it as if it already exists. You must walk into that mental picture with all your senses engaged until it becomes undeniable in your mind. When the picture is strong enough, belief is inevitable, and belief is everything. A person who believes cannot be stopped. Doubt makes you hesitate, fear makes you retreat, but belief makes you move. Belief makes you endure when pain comes. Belief makes you rise when you fall. Belief makes you act even when no evidence is in sight. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they lack belief. And they lack belief because they never visualized with intensity long enough for their minds to accept it as possible. Visualization is rehearsal for victory. Athletes use it to prepare for competition, seeing themselves cross the finish line before they ever step on the track. Leaders use it to prepare for challenges, seeing solutions before problems overwhelm them. You must do the same. See yourself achieving the goal before the opportunity arrives. See yourself strong before the challenge comes. See yourself disciplined before temptation shows up. When you have rehearsed it enough in your mind, you will act with confidence when the real moment arrives. This is the formula. Visualization creates belief. Belief drives action. Action produces results. Without the first step, the chain is broken. Without vision, belief has no fuel. Without belief, action has no power. Without action, results never come. If you want to change your life, you must begin by changing the pictures you hold inside. Every night before you sleep, visualize. Every morning before you rise, visualize. See the life you want. See the victories you are building. See the version of yourself that already exists in the future. Hold that image with such intensity that your subconscious mind begins to treat it as truth. When you do this, you wake with more energy, you move with more purpose, and you attack your day with more certainty. But visualization is not escape, it is empowerment. Do not use it as fantasy, use it as fuel. When you see your dream clearly, you must follow it with action. The vision is not given to you to entertain you, it is given to you to demand work from you. A strong vision should not make you comfortable. It should make you restless until you bring it into reality. And do not let the world steal your vision. People will tell you to be realistic. People will try to shrink your dreams to the size of their own fears. Ignore them, protect your vision as you would protect fire in the wind, feed it daily, strengthen it daily, because the moment you lose the picture, you lose the belief, and when belief dies, action collapses. Think of the great achievers. They all saw their future long before it happened. They lived inside the vision until the world had no choice but to catch up. They believed so strongly that every setback became fuel instead of defeat. This is what you must do. Hold your vision, nurture your belief, and act relentlessly until the picture in your mind and the reality around you match. Visualization fuels belief, and belief commands action. If you want more strength, see yourself strong. If you want more discipline, see yourself disciplined. If you want more victory, see yourself victorious. The mind moves first, the body follows, and reality obeys. So I challenge you now, start seeing with intensity. Do not let a day pass without holding the picture of your future clearly in your mind. See it, feel it, believe it, and then act with everything you have until what was once only vision becomes undeniable reality. Discipline in thought is discipline in destiny. Your life is not shaped first by your circumstances, not by your environment, not by the opinions of others, but by the discipline you keep inside your own mind. The undisciplined thinker drifts, distracted, pulled in every direction by fear, doubt, and temptation. The disciplined thinker directs, focused on vision, locked on purpose, unshaken by noise. The quality of your life will always follow the quality of your thoughts. The truth is, thought without discipline is dangerous. A mind left untrained becomes a weapon against its owner. It magnifies fear, it exaggerates obstacles, it clings to weakness, it builds excuses. People fail long before they take action. They fail in the way they think. But the one who learns to discipline his thoughts, to train his mind as a soldier trains for battle, becomes unstoppable. Because when your thinking is under control, your destiny bends to your command. Discipline in thought begins with choice. Every day, thousands of thoughts pass through your mind. You cannot stop them from appearing, but you can decide which ones stay. You can decide which ones are given attention, which ones are repeated, which ones are planted, and repetition is everything. A single thought is like a spark. A repeated thought is like a fire. Without discipline, you feed the fire of fear. With discipline, you build the fire of strength. But discipline is not easy. It requires vigilance. It requires awareness. It requires the courage to confront your own weakness. The lazy mind avoids discipline because it feels easier to let thoughts wander freely. But freedom without discipline is not freedom. It is chaos. True freedom is the ability to command your mind to say yes to the thoughts that serve you and no to the ones that destroy you. Consider this. Every champion, every leader, every person who achieved greatness began with the same raw material as everyone else, thoughts. The difference is not that their minds never produced fear or doubt. The difference is that they refused to indulge those thoughts. They disciplined their minds to focus on vision, to feed on strength, to starve weakness. They trained themselves to think only in the direction of victory, and that discipline created their destiny. And you must do the same. You must set rules for your own mind. Rules like, I will not entertain fear. I will not dwell on doubt. I will not allow myself to replay failure. Instead, I will focus on possibility. I will concentrate on strength. I will repeat visions of success until my mind believes them as truth. These rules must be enforced daily because the battle of the mind never ends. Negativity will always try to creep back in, but discipline is the guard at the gate. Discipline in thought also means consistency. One day of powerful thinking is not enough. 1 week of focus is not enough. Discipline is built in repetition. Just as the body grows strong from training every day, the mind grows strong from directing every thought with consistency. The disciplined thinker does not wait for inspiration. He creates it by practice. He chooses what to think about morning, noon, and night until his mind is wired for success. And make no mistake, this discipline will demand sacrifice. You will have to reject the distractions that steal your focus. You will have to silence the voices of small thinkers who try to plant doubt. You will have to walk away from negativity, even when it is disguised as advice. The undisciplined follow the crowd, the disciplined rise above it. That separation is the price of destiny. But the reward is limitless. A disciplined mind cannot be defeated because no matter what the outside world throws at it, it remains steady. Challenges arrive, but the disciplined thinker sees solutions. Failures happen, but the disciplined thinker sees lessons. Obstacles appear, but the disciplined thinker sees opportunities. When your thoughts are under control, nothing external has power over you. Ask yourself, how can you expect to build a disciplined life if you do not first build a disciplined mind? The body follows the mind. Action follows thought. Destiny follows discipline. Every great achievement begins not with chance, not with luck, but with the disciplined decision to think in the direction of victory over and over until action and reality align with that thought. So I say to you today, guard your mind. Train it daily. Discipline it fiercely. Do not let fear control it. Do not let weakness dwell in it. Do not let doubt whisper unchecked. Replace them with thoughts of courage, of persistence, of victory. Repeat those thoughts until they become unshakable belief, and let that belief drive unrelenting action. Discipline in thought is discipline in destiny. If you master your mind, you master your future. If you command your thoughts, you command your life. Every destiny is written first in the silence of thought. Write yours with strength, with focus, with discipline, and watch as your life rises to match the mind you have trained. Change your inner world, and your outer world must obey. The universe does not bend to wishes, it bends to alignment. Your life is not determined first by chance, nor by circumstance, nor by the conditions outside of you. It is determined by what you carry within. Every thought, every belief, every image you hold in the privacy of your own mind writes the script that the outer world performs. If you want transformation, stop begging the outside to change. Begin with the inside, and the outside will have no choice but to follow. Most people live backward. They wait for conditions to improve before they allow themselves to think differently. They wait for success before they feel confident. They wait for love before they feel worthy. They wait for opportunity before they feel capable. That is weakness. That is slavery to the outside. The truth is the opposite. Conditions follow consciousness. What you think and believe inside sets the pattern for what you experience outside. Your mind is the command center of your destiny. If it is